Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from MyChartCoach.com, and we're going to take a look at some of the stocks that were in play today. Okay, first let's look at PSIX. You've got RSI and FASTO in the bull zone. There was a bullish crossover on ADX, so those all look really good. If you look here, there was a bullish close today above the middle Bollinger Band. It hit the 50-day simple moving average at 779 and pulled back, so that's going to be the key level to break. If it can get above that level, then the 100-day simple moving average at 943 will be the next target. What bulls want to see is the middle Bollinger Band at 551 turn into support. If that level holds, a new uptrend should begin. Notice there was a parabolic SAR bullish flip, a giant volume spike, and there was a bullish crossover on the 12, 26, and 9 MACD today, and one a couple days ago on the 8, 13, and 5. So really nice move for PSIX. The one red flag is the gap here in between these two candles. If it fails to turn the middle Bollinger Band into support and pulls back, you could see that gap fill. Okay, let's look at the next chart. Okay, tops here was in play today. Congrats to everybody that got the early alert. It ended up closing at $3 during the regular session, and it was up as high, I believe, 330 in after hours trading. So this is really heating up big time. If you notice here, it's hard to see with all the lines, but it closed above the 50, the 100, and 200 and 300-day simple moving averages. So the close today was super bullish above all the key moving averages. So now that's just putting previous high closes as the next resistance levels to break. If it can get through this December and November resistance and this basically $3 to 375 zone, then you can see a potential breakout to this up to the 5 and 6 range on these previous high closes in November. So this was a really strong move today. MACD is looking good on both time frames. The red flag is the high of day close did put FASTO at 100, so it is temporarily overbought. It may need to cool down a little bit. We'll have to see what happens. The close was well above the upper Bollinger Band. The key on a pullback is you just want to see the 200-day simple moving average at 289 hold. That's the top moving average right here. If that turns into support, it should get a nice push higher. When stocks are breaking out, we like to go to the weekly chart to find the next resistance levels, and each candle on this chart here represents 1 week of trading. If you look here, this is smoothing out the data from the daily chart. Look how much easier this chart is to read. There was a really bullish development that's happening this week. Notice the close, the close yesterday above the middle Bollinger Band and the green line here, the 50-week simple moving average. Those are going to be the key levels to close above this week. If they can close above, if TOPS can close above those levels, this candle will set at the closing bell on Friday, and that will signal more upside potential, a possible new uptrend starting. Notice back here in November, there was a close on the 14th above the middle Bollinger Band, but it failed to turn into support, and the downtrend continued. Back here in July, when it closed above, it was able to push higher, and it went all the way up to 850. So, so keep an eye on this. There's a possible new uptrend starting. It could pull back. If it pulls back and it closes below the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-week simple moving average, that will be a red flag. Notice the 8, 13, and 5 bullish crossed on the MACD down here, and it's pinched on the 12, 26, and 9. So those are signaling that there's a possible new uptrend starting. The nice thing is you've got RSI and FASTO with plenty of room to run. If you see here, RSI just broke over 50, so at 52, it's not overbought till it hits 70. So it just entered the bull zone. That's showing a lot of room to run. And actually, if you look down here at FASTO, it's below 20 at oversold levels. So there's some upside potential with tops. Keep an eye on it. Another stock that is in play today is RGSE. They came out with some after hours news, stating that they were NASDAQ compliant. It looked like a pretty good PR here. So this is now in play. It was moving after hours. It was, this was hitting 330 after hours, or no, what was it hitting? 230. This was hitting above 230 after hours, and so it looked like it was gonna in after hours trading, if it does pre-market stay up there, it could open above this EMA 8 resistance level, and so if it does open above that level, that will create a gap, a space in the chart, and it might pull back and fill the gap. That's what happened back here. Look at this candle on the 7th. This is the top of the candle. That's the open. And notice it was above EMA 4 is the pink line. EMA 8 is the lime line. And then it pulled all the way back, and this lower wick actually filled the gap. So it looks like it's going to gap up open unless something drastically changes pre-market. And stocks like RGSE have a tendency to fill a gap. That doesn't mean it can't break out and run much higher without filling it. It just means at some point it will probably come back to fill that gap. So what we are looking for is a break above this EMA 13. We want to see a break above that level. That's going to signal more upside potential, and that's going to put the middle Bollinger Band here on deck. So that's what we're looking for, is a potential break above 273 for a possible run up to 348. You know, be careful if it starts pulling back and it forms a black candle like this candle. That's going to be a red flag that the bears are attacking, and this creates a bull trap. Notice how if you bought in pre-market, let's say on this day, and you bought up here, you know, notice how it pulled back. The bears were in control, and it had a huge drop lower. So you don't want to get caught up in that situation. Notice that MACD is super pinched here, so look for a breakaway on MACD. If it does, if the share price breaks 262 tomorrow, that's going to take this little dot here and have it flip below the candles, and that's going to signal a possible new uptrend. Notice that RSI and FASTO are both at overbought levels, so there's tons of room to run on this for the stock, and then there was a bullish crossover on FASTO. So keep an eye on RGSE. Okay, here's MEMP, MEMP, Memorial Production Partners. They had nice follow through today. We had put out alerts yesterday that it was setting up. It had formed this white candle after the multiple red candles, and then today there was nice follow through with a close above the EMAs and the middle Bollinger Band. So now we're looking for the middle Bollinger Band to turn into support and a possible new uptrend. Our next target's going to be up here at the 50-day simple moving average at 26. If the middle Bollinger Band holds, we'll need to get through the upper Bollinger Band first. Notice that there's this big gap back here. The gap did not fill on this wick, so if the share price does get above the 50-day simple moving average, you could see a run to fill this gap. And so that's going to put it about 40 cents would be the climax on a gap fill. So many times when a gap gets filled, the share price will pull back. You know, so that could be a climax if it does get up to that level. You know, there is the 100-day simple moving average is the next target after that. First things first, though, it needs to close again tomorrow above the middle Bollinger Band and turn that level into support to start a new uptrend. The volume spike is promising. Notice that the MACD was super pinched, and now the MACD line is breaking away from the signal line on the 8, 13, and 5. Okay, let's look at SXE. Okay, this is another stock that had a really nice day today. It did close at overbought levels on RSI and on FASTO, and FASTO is almost maxed. 100 is maxed on FASTO. So if you notice, it was a high of day close. There's no upper wick. When that happens, that pushes FASTO to extreme levels. Since SXE was breaking out on the daily chart, I'm using this weekly chart to find the next resistance levels, and I wanted to show you how it was making a nice breakout this week above really key resistance levels. So this is a very bullish move on the weekly chart. Once again, this candle will not set till the closing bell tomorrow, so it needs to close above this red horizontal resistance line. Look how it lines up with this candle right here. Back in April, that was the high close, and look how many times that level got hit back here in 2016 in the spring and start of the summertime. And then once again in January, it got hit multiple weeks in a row, and then this week it's finally breaking above. When you get a break above a key resistance level like this, notice how it like filled the jar right there. That's a big sign that it could run higher. You know, this may be a stretch here, but it does look like a cup and handle over here. If you look here, this you know, cup and then a handle. Could be a stretch, but you can tell that, you know, higher low came down. Now this is like the neckline, and then the break above the neckline is putting the 100-day simple moving average at 430 on deck, and that's gonna line up here with this high close back here. So keep an eye on the high close back here in December is the key level to break. So now if it can keep this uptrend, notice how this candle right here closed above the upper Bollinger Band. You know, that just signaled that it was getting frothy and the candles worked back into the bands. You might have the same thing happen this week. If that happens, you want to see this, you know, 240 zone turn into support. You want to turn the red line into support, and you want to see EMA 4 hold. That's been holding the entire time. This is a very strong uptrend. You know, there's good volume behind the move. And you know, this volume bar right here, that was your clue that this was heating up. When you get a big volume spike and then a push above the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-week moving average, that is the bull signal. That is the signal that the stock has more upside potential. Okay, let's look at MCZ. Okay, this is another stock that did really well today. It was up 63%, but look, it's still not above 50 on RSI or FASTO. So if it gets above 50, that's going to be a signal that this chart is really heating up. This has been a while since it's been above 50. This is a dead cat bounce play. Notice it was way down here at the bottom of the chart, hitting 6, and it started filling this gap. This is the top of the gap. This is the bottom of the gap. Notice how it closed right at the bottom of the gap. That is not a coincidence. The bottom of the gap is always a big resistance level to break. If it can get above that level tomorrow and get above the middle Bollinger Band, look for a potential gap fill and run up here to 12.5 to 13. You know, if you can break that, then the 50-day simple moving average is on deck. If it fails to break this middle Bollinger Band, you could see a continuation of the downtrend. That huge volume spike today was very promising, that it has you know, the momentum to push through resistance. So you know, there was a bullish crossover down here on MACD, and you know, one thing to look out for is you want to see a crossover here on the 12, 26, and 9, and then if the share price breaks this 11.8 PSR level, that's the dots are going to flip below the candles, so that will be a bullish development. Okay, so another one to look at is APVO. Notice how it broke into the 50 to 70 bull zone today. Now it's above 80 on Fasto. There was this, notice how the red line crossed the black line to the downside with the plus DI spiking. No, that's minus DI and ADX. What that's showing is that the bulls are taking control. There was a parabolic SAR bullish flip down here. Notice the close above the middle Bollinger Band and the 50 and 100-day simple moving averages. If it can turn that level into support, it looks like it could run back up here and test 250 to 3 zone. So, you know, those are the key levels to hold. On a pullback, you want to see the middle Bollinger Band hold. As long as that middle Bollinger Band holds, a new uptrend could begin. If you look back here, you'll see the close above the 50-day simple moving average. Notice how it broke above, came back down, tested the middle Bollinger Band, broke back above again, and then it took off running. You know, you could see that type of pattern possibly happen, but this is exactly what you want to see happen if it does pull back, because you want to see the middle Bollinger Band hold, a close back above the 50-day simple moving average, then candles right in EMA for support higher. This is how it works. We just keep looking for the same patterns over and over again. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, these patterns are golden, and you know, if you can locate the right setups, you can do really well. Okay, here's SCON. Notice that Fasto's in the 50 to 80 bull zone at 66 here, so there is juice to run. RSI is hitting 70. You know, a black candle did form today, and so usually we're very cautious with the black candle. Notice that it also opened above the upper Bollinger Band, that's at 135. So many times when this happens, you'll see the candles work back into the bands. It hit the 100-day simple moving average at 169 and pulled back. I didn't put the the gap information on here, but notice there is a gap here. This is another gap fill play. This line right here represents the bottom of the gap, and so it started above that level. It didn't quite fill the gap. A gap fill will be $2. So if you see a break above the 100-day simple moving average, look for a run to the 200. You know, we always try to look to lock in gains at the top of the gap level for an upward gap, because usually that is a climax. Notice there was big money behind the move, so this could keep moving higher without filling this gap. If it does pull back, you want to see the middle Bollinger Band and then this 50-day simple moving average hold. There was a bullish move above that today. PSR bullish flip. You know, MACD is about positive, the MACD line. You know, this chart is heating up. There's room to run on Fasto. It's not at overbought levels, so you know, keep an eye on it. We'll see if it can break out higher. Just a couple of quick OTC stocks to keep an eye on. PSCR here looks like it's heating up. Notice how it was way up here at 220. It had this giant drop, and then it found support, this prior support level from back here. Well, today there was a bullish development. There was a close above the EMA 4. Notice how there hadn't been a close above that level since this entire drop on a volume spike. Notice the very light volume the day before. This is all the classic signs that it might break out higher. What we're looking for is a break above this pink line. If it can break above the pink line, that's EMA 8. We think it could run higher. Keep an eye on it. Notice there's a gap back here. This gap right here between 120 and 140, you never know, it could possibly fill that gap. If it fails to break resistance here, you know, it could just keep dropping lower. You know, OTC plays are very risky, so you want to be careful trading them. They're not for everybody. Don't get caught holding the bag is the same. I just wanted to show you the intraday chart here. You could see here on the intraday chart, if it can get above this 12 zone, notice how it pulled down, came back, and then retested that level on some volume. If it can break above that, then it possibly could head higher. So keep an eye on PSCR. Another one to keep an eye on is FNHI. Okay, this one you know, closed yesterday above EMA's 4 and 8, and then it pushed higher today on this big volume spike. So you know, it looks like the stock is in play. You know, 3 is going to be the next key level to break. keep an eye on it. It could get moving. If you look here, it's got this really strong 2-day move on the chart, and notice how it was really pushing into the close on heavy volume. So it looks like they might want to take this thing higher. So you know, that's 2 days on this run. We'll see if it can push number 3. All right, there's some charts for you. Hope you enjoyed this information. Check us out at mychartcoach.com and our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com. Thank you.